Here's something that got buried under a much louder launch. On the same day, DeepSeek released its agent harness. Researchers from Peking University and DeepSeek published an 88-page paper describing the framework underneath it. That framework is called Cordis, and the paper is titled A Programming Paradigm for Spatiotemporal Composability. Now, that title sounds academic, but the idea behind it is intensely practical, and it has already been stress-tested for 4 years in a completely different product. Let's get into what it actually claims. The paper formalizes 2 properties, and honestly the clearest way in is to name the everyday failure each one is designed to eliminate. The first property concerns time. Temporal composability says that when a component is removed, its side effects fully revert. Think about every plugin system you have used where disabling something left a timer running, a handler bound, or a bit of state stranded, so the only trustworthy fix was a restart. This property makes that class of bug a violation rather than a quirk. The second concerns structure. Spatial composability says components declare their dependencies and manage them reactively. Rather than assuming a service exists and crashing when it does not, a component states what it needs and responds as those things come and go. Put the two together, and you get a system where parts can be added and removed while it is running. Now, a paradigm paper lives or dies on evidence, so it is worth walking the argument the paper actually makes. The opening move is to treat hot swapping as something you can specify rather than something you hope for. Most plugin systems describe reloading as a feature and then quietly document all the cases where it does not really work. This paper argues the guarantee belongs in the programming model itself. The validation is unusual and rather convincing. Instead of a synthetic benchmark, the authors lean on the Koishi chatbot framework, which has run in production for over 4 years with more than 4,000 community plugins that support hot swapping. That is a large, messy, real ecosystem rather than a lab experiment. And then it connects to agents. Because DeepSeek Harness is built on Cordis, the harness inherits these guarantees, which is precisely how it can let you replace the agent loop at runtime without the system rotting. The composability story in DSH is not marketing, it rests on this. Strip it back, and 3 consequences matter for anyone building on top of it. The first consequence is operational. If removal genuinely reverts, you can add and remove capability inside a live process without dropping everything you had loaded. For a long-running agent holding an expensive context, restarting to change a tool is not a small annoyance. It is the loss of the entire working session. The second is about trust. Ecosystems only scale when you can install something from a stranger and reverse that decision cleanly. A formal revert guarantee lowers the cost of trying a community plugin, which is plausibly a real part of why the harness ecosystem filled up so quickly. And the third is comprehension. When dependencies are declared rather than implied, load order stops being tribal knowledge passed around in issue threads. You can look at a configuration and reason about what will happen, which is the difference between a framework you operate and one you appease. All right, let's consolidate what Cordis is and why it showed up now. Cordis is the open-source framework sitting underneath DeepSeek Harness, described in an 88-page paper from Peking University and DeepSeek published on the 13th of August. Its first formal property is temporal composability, meaning a component side effects fully revert when that component is removed, which turns unreliable hot swapping into a stated guarantee. Its second property is spatial composability, meaning components declare their dependencies and manage them reactively. So the system adapts as parts appear and disappear instead of assuming a fixed world. And the validation comes from over 4 years of production data in the Koishi chatbot framework with more than 4,000 hot swappable community plugins. If systems papers like this one interest you, we unpack them regularly over at standarity.com.